I'm one of the school counselors here at Heights. I work with students' last names D through J. Miss Reagan is here as well. She's helping pass out some COTC information. She works with the last part of the alphabet, RAM through Z. And then we have Mr. Shipton in the back, one of our assistant principals, and Mrs. McLeod just walked in, our principal here at the high school. So I am, I'm going to get started by saying I am shocked at the number of people who are here. I appreciate that very much. Last year, our CCP information night was very not well attended, let's say. So I'm glad that you guys are here to get this information. I will be honest with you, this is not exhilarating information. This is not anything that's going to blow your socks off. This is the annual meeting that every public school has to do in order to have students participate in CCP. CCP, for those of you guys who don't know, is the College Credit Plus option and program that the state of Ohio has put in place for students through students in grades 7th through 12th grade. And so we'll get started with some of this. Students can earn credit for high school and for college at the same time through the CCP program. And they can take a variety of different courses. These courses can be held here. The last slide that I have will talk about some of the classes that we offer here. They can take them online through the college or university that they decide to do College Credit Plus through, or they can do it in person at the college and university that they decide to do. All of that looks a little bit different when it comes to your students' scheduling. So that's why we want to have this conversation far enough in advance that when we create the schedules for next year, we know which students we need to be looking at who may be signing up for CCP classes and how we need to schedule them during the day when they're here. There are a couple of things that you have to do in order to participate in CCP. There's a couple of steps that the state says that you have to do in order to be eligible. There are remediation-free scores. Woo, that's bright. Can you guys still see the screen though? Iffy? From like, let me guess, from like, ooh, hold on, I have a laser pointer, I don't want to jump. So like from this high up? Okay, there we go. Students must have a cumulative unweighted high school GPA of a 3.0 or has a cumulative unweighted high school grade point average of at least a 2.7 but less than a 3.0 and receive an A or a B. It's a lot of stuff, but the colleges and universities that you guys work with help us determine that eligibility. So you will apply to the college, you will go through all those steps, and then they will help us decide who's eligible and who's not. The colleges and universities are great when communicating with us, letting us know who's eligible and who's not. The second step is this is a college level course, so you have to apply to the college or university that you are wanting to take these schools through, and they have their own application process. So it's not just, we have a lot of students who sign up for the class to take the classes that are here in person and think that's the registration process. There's a lot more to it. There's a lot more that goes into it when it comes to the application process and what each school and university need in order to have the students admitted. Then comes the course registration. On our website right now, you will see information on how to register for these classes. There's a form that needs to be filled out. There's an equation that needs to be done in order for us to determine how many credit hours a student is taking. You have to let us know, is it online? A lot of different things go into that course registration sheet. We will help, counselors will help sit down with students and kind of fill out that form. Parents, if you want to come to that meeting while we're working on that form, that's fine too. But we've had all kinds of different Zoom meetings, in-person meetings, whatever it is to make sure that the courses get registered correctly. This is a little bit more of a daunting task because it requires, especially those courses that are offered outside of our school building, requires you guys to find the course registration code. You have to find the timing and all of that kind of stuff, whether it's online or in person, and how that's going to work for your child. Again, with the eligibility, so there's first 15, and again, this is stuff that is determined by the CCP program in the state of Ohio. This is not something that is determined by us at Licking Heights, or is it just determined by each individual college and university. This is a decision based off of what the state of Ohio tells us. So there's some courses that are just not allowed to be a part of the CCP program. You guys in the very back, if you want to come on this side of the room, there are plenty of seats over here. Just watch out for the camera as you guys are walking through. I don't want you guys to have to stay in this whole time. Study abroad courses, anything with a high fee. So it's not just a catch-all, you take whatever you want, whenever you want, and however it works. There are certain things that have to be met, and these are the things that the state has determined to not be eligible. So this is where that calculation comes into place. So they may be enrolled in up to 30 credits per year, which includes high school courses. So if you were to look at some of the course registration sheets, this calculation will be at the top of that sheet. And we work with the students to determine, okay, what are they taking here? And how does that equate to what they can be taking at college? And where does that fall into that 30-hour window? If a student enrolls in more than 30 credit hours per year, there are two things that they can do. They can either drop the course that put them over the 30 mark, or they can pay for the entire course. So we've had a couple of situations where a student has been enrolled in a class that's maybe 3 credit or 4 credit hours, but they only have 3 hours that are eligible for payment. That 1 hour of self-payment makes the entire class a self-paid class. So a student in that situation would have to drop from a 4 credit hour class to a 3 credit hour class to fall under the 30 mark to not have to pay for that course. So the grades and grade weighting, we receive information from the colleges and universities of what the grade was earned. We add that to our transcript, but it also goes on the college transcript that stays with the student for their entire college career. So if a student who is in 8th grade signs up for a college course through CCP and they take it, we don't have anything down in the middle school, but if they take it online, they complete the course, they earn a D or a C or whatever it may be, that even though they're in middle school, that grade stays on their transcript when they go to college after their senior year. So that's one of those risk-reward kind of things that comes along with the CCP program. We do weight our CCP classes. We do offer AP classes, so we do have weighted GPAs in those classes. So those carry on to the CCP classes as well. For the male students in the room, one of the things that we've noticed this year that has been kind of a sticking point for a lot of them is the selective service piece. This has to be completed in order to participate if they are at least 18 years old. So if our seniors or sometimes our older juniors are applying for CCP and they haven't done the selective service piece, we can't enroll them into the CCP courses. So that's something to be mindful of for our male students in the room. So what's the difference between high school and college? Again, this is a slideshow that I did not put together. This is a slideshow from the state of Ohio. But this was one of those pieces that I wanted to make sure that I really touched on. These are college level courses. For the parents who are in the room who attended college, you guys understand the difference between what a college level course looks like and what a high school course looks like. For the students in the room, you guys have just seen middle school and high school classes. You have not seen what maybe the workload may be when it comes to the college level classes. So there are going to be a lot more hours of studying that go along with each class. There's going to be a lot of outside work. I know that some of our teachers have done a lot of in-class work to try to make sure that they're there to help you while you're learning the information. It's just not possible when it comes to the college level courses that are taught here and are taught at the colleges and universities. These are much faster paced classes, so they're going to require a lot more of that outside work. A lot of these classes are going to require a lot more writing than you may be used to in some of the high school level courses as well. So that's something to think about. Are you a strong writer? Are you strong with working on your own outside of class? If the answer to those are no, you may need to have some more conversations about are you ready for college credit plus courses in the coming year. So this is, again, some more of the differences. a lot of time, the one thing that on this slide that I wanted to touch on is this part of the parents and guardians role. When it comes to the college level courses, we're looking at a lot more independence when it comes to the students. We don't post grades in PowerSchool for these classes. The classes are on Blackboard or, I'm trying to think, what's the other one called? Huh? Canvas, that's right. So there's different places that colleges and universities use to track their grades that does not come through us. So parent involvement is a little bit less because you're not going to see those grades as frequently as you will with the high school courses that are in PowerSchool or the middle school courses that are in PowerSchool. So be mindful of that. What does it mean to be, and I kind of touched on that a little bit about what it means to be ready for college ready, what that looks like. Being an independent worker, being able to manage your time is a huge deal. A lot of our students that come to us who are struggling with CCP, we ask them, okay, so how much time have you spent on this class? Or are you doing anything outside of school? And they're like, I'm working, I'm doing sports, I don't have enough time to do the CCP stuff. And then we're like, okay, why did we sign up for this? What are we trying to accomplish? Is there something that we can do better to manage our time? So a lot of that does come down to that time management piece. Again, the great thing about College Credit Plus, the things that help you as students and as families, is the big thing that I think that is huge is getting kind of that head start. If you know that you're going to college, we know that college costs a lot. This is an opportunity to get a little bit further ahead and maybe even skip a year of college. Doing 3 years of college is going to be way cheaper than 4 years of college. The nice thing is about this program is that you will save the tuition and the textbook costs because the state of Ohio is paying for the students to be able to do this, unless you do the self-pay option. So it helps with that kind of cost. It helps get a head start on what you may want to do, getting some of those courses done, maybe getting some electives out of the way to be able to, or some of the core classes out of the way, like English, and maybe a history class if that's something that you guys need to do for your major. That could be something that could help you with that, is get ahead with those kind of classes. There is the piece though, and this is again the risk and something that you need to weigh as a family, is if a student fails or decides to drop the class after the drop date, there will be a reimbursement that will be asked of you to cover the cost of that class. So if we get down to the final weeks and you don't turn in your final, or you don't turn in a very important test grade or something like that, and it drops you below a passing grade, then the families are going to have to come up with that reimbursement cost. And it's not a full, we looked at this recently of what the breakdown is for those college classes on a CCP level. And it is, I will say it's a little bit of a discounted cost as to what it would be for just taking a full 3 credit hour class at a college, but there is still a cost involved in that. And so that's something to be mindful of too. If you're a little bit nervous about how you're going to do in this class, then we need to have a conversation of, okay, what's the risk and what's the reward? What are the pros, what are the cons? And what do we need to do in order to make sure that the cons are the things that, or the pros are the things that we end up accomplishing, and we don't have to worry about the cons, okay? So again, that's a conversation that you guys need to have as a family, but we can also as counselors help you have those conversations too. There is a thing called College Credit Plus probation. So if a student is taking multiple classes or even just one course and you fall below that 2.0 GPA in the CCP courses, they will put you on what's a probation, where they will allow you to take some courses, but maybe not a full load of College Credit Plus courses. They will limit you and make sure that you're not overexerting yourself. You're not, if you've struggled in the past, we want to make sure that we set you up for success when it comes to these kind of classes. And also if you withdraw from more than 2 or more courses in one academic term. While on the probation, you may only enroll in one College Credit Plus course. So that's a lot of ours are on semester. So that'll be one per semester. And then you may not enroll in a college course in the same subject. So like if we have a student who's taking an American history class that we offer here and they fall under that threshold, then they won't be able to take another social studies course under CCP. And then if they don't increase their GPA during the probationary term, then students will not be able to take any more CCP classes. Again, with that, the dismissal piece, and there is an appeal process. I'll be honest with you, I've not done any of that before, but I know that the colleges and universities are familiar with that process and can help us as counselors, help you guys as families work through what that process may look like. And here's just some more information about that appeals process. I saw a couple of you guys taking pictures. We will be posting this on our website. There is the high school website. It's gonna be the same place that we post the recording of this. Under the high school webpage, there is a counselor landing page as well, and we'll have this information there too. So again, the grades that are earned in CCP will remain on the transcript, and there is some future thinking when it comes to that. Yes, it's great if you have an A or B or C in college courses that are coming with you. You're transferring those maybe to a school, maybe you're continuing at the college that you've done the CCP classes to. But there's the downfall of that too when it comes to those failures and maybe withdrawals. Those stay on there too. So that could hinder some of the things that you may be looking to do at the college level after graduation. So now we talk a little bit more about like the expenses of what a college credit plus course may be. So we have had a few students who have decided, I missed a registration or I missed a piece of this, but I still want to do CCP. Can I just pay for it? That option is available. I don't recommend it, especially since there are options to get this free, but there is the option of self-pay for some of the classes that you may take. The other thing too is if you, like I said, if a student is over and above that 30 and they need to self-pay for those classes, they can do that too. And the same thing, even if you're self-pay, it still works the same way, where the college, everything goes on the high school transcript, goes on the college transcript, the self-pay part is still the same. And then this is the standard option. So option B, where the courses, the tuition stuff is all taken care of by the state of Ohio. And then like we will pay for some of it. The state will help us reimburse some of that and all that kind of stuff. That's all the background, all the behind the doors kind of thing. But we do have you take these classes at the expense of the state, so you're not paying anything directly out of pocket up front. Again, if there's a failure or something like that, that's when a cost can incur. The support when it comes to the College Credit Plus courses, you have both. You have both the college counselors and you have us here at the high school that can help. Sometimes we have students who are full-time College Credit Plus. So they only come to the building maybe once or twice a year, depending on what they may be involved in, because they are taking college courses at Columbus State or COTC full-time. They're not taking any high school level things. So sometimes for us, that's the support that we can offer as counselors is a little bit more difficult to get to those students because we don't see them as often. But we're still there for them. I've had a couple of students who have done that full-time thing, and they still have my email address, they still have our phone number, they still know where we're located, and they will come and ask certain questions on different things of what they may need to be looking for if they're deciding to maybe change a major, or if they are looking at a certain major, trying to decide between two classes, whatever it may be. But they can also go to their college counselor. They may not be as familiar with that person, but they at least have somebody there that can help them make the decisions that they're trying to make. And this bottom line here is something that I think a lot of people tend to forget about. So any academic support that is offered to the college level kids, so students who had already graduated high school or full-time college level students, whatever they're offered in tutoring or library access or whatever it may be, all of our CCP students have that same access to that information too. So if a student is struggling in math, even if they are in-house CCP students, they can still go and talk to some of the folks that are at the college to maybe help them with some of the stuff. If they maybe need, math is like a foreign language to me, so I don't understand it. And maybe as a student, maybe the teacher who's here in the building doesn't teach it the way that maybe it clicks in their brain, but maybe they can find somebody at the college or university that can help explain it maybe a little bit better in terms of how they can understand it. So that access is there for them too. This is also a big piece for us. Student athletes can take CCP classes, but we have to be very mindful of making sure that we are following the guidelines of OHSAA. Just because you're taking College Credit Plus courses doesn't mean that, okay, cool, I can just play sports and only take 2 classes. There are some guidelines that we need to make sure that we are meeting as a school to make sure that those students are eligible. I've seen many articles, and most of the time I'm kind of wondering if it's CCP classes that a school has to vacate wins or whatever it may be, or games or whatever, or maybe disqualified from a postseason because a student athlete was found to not be eligible. And so we just want to make sure that we are very clear with you guys that we have to make sure that we're following those guidelines. We have to make sure that students are having the 5 credit hours in whatever combination that may be of high school and college courses. We just have to make sure that students are eligible to play the sports that they want to play. And OHSAA has a great PDF document on their website that talks about that credit eligibility and those kind of things too, that we as counselors have. So if you have any questions about that aspect of it, let us know and we can send you that document. A lot of the times the questions that we get are like, I don't know if I want to go to Columbus State after I graduate, so does it make sense to take courses from there? Or I don't know if I want to go to COTC, I may want to go somewhere else. Does it make sense to take those classes? So the transferability of College Credit Plus courses, you have to be kind of mindful of that and making sure that what you're taking will transfer to the places that you want to take. I don't know why, but I always use this as an example. When I was first, probably because it was my first experience with it, but when I was first a school counselor, I had a student take a bunch of CCP math classes and then decide that he wanted to do engineering at the University of Cincinnati. When he got there, he sent me a very panicked email saying, they're making me take all of these math classes again, what do I do? I'm like, well, you got to talk to them, show them your college transcript, make sure that they have everything. Are they missing something? He said, I've shown them everything. I said, well, then you need to talk to your academic advisor there and figure out what's going on. The University of Cincinnati is very particular when it comes to their math courses because you are graduating from there with an engineering degree and it's their degree, their title on the degree. So they want to make sure that you are taking the classes that they feel are up to their standard. To me, a math class is a math class, so I don't know what they're talking about. But those kind of classes we have to be kind of careful about and making sure that they still counted them as electives, but again, it's taking the class again, that's kind of that troublesome aspect of it. So something to just be mindful of when we're choosing classes, kind of having that future thinking. That's the other piece of the College Credit Plus thing is there's the immediate thinking, but we also have to be future thinking too about, okay, we're gonna take this, we're gonna be successful at it, but what does that mean for my future? This website here at the bottom, the transfercredit.ohio.gov, is a great resource to be able to see what transfers and what doesn't. The other rule of thumb that I've incurred as well is if you're planning on going to college outside of the state of Ohio. Some schools will take it, but it's very hit or miss on how they do the transfer process. But that's even if you like start at Columbus State and then decide to transfer to someplace out in California. They may not take those classes either. So you just have to be very mindful of those transferability of credits, and that website will help you determine that kind of stuff. So there are some deadlines that need to be met in order for you to participate in College Credit Plus. The first one coming up is the intent to participate. That needs to be done by April 1st. I've blanked on when our spring break is, but I believe that is the very end of our spring break. So I think the week before the 1st, we're on spring break? Yeah. So we will put on the announcements that if students are interested in doing this, the intent form needs to be done. We have ours as a Google form. I have lost access to edit our webpage, or it would be up there right now. This year's, the one that is up there on our website right now is last year's, and it's closed. You can't fill anything out. We will send out an announcement when that is updated and ready for this year's intent form. But it's just a Google form. It's the same language that is used on the Ohio intent form. We just put it in an electronic document because it's easier for us to keep track of in a spreadsheet. And if you, let's say you fill it out tomorrow and you're like panicking before April 1st and you're like, oh no, I don't know if we did this, email the school counselor that's with your student, and we can look it up in that spreadsheet and right away tell you if you've done the intent form, okay? Some of the classes that students may want to take will have some prerequisites that may not be courses, but may be like a letter grade in a class or a certain ACT score. So there are some ACT dates that are coming up that students can sign up for to kind of help us with that process. If you score high enough on some of the ACT sub-scores, it can make sure that you are eligible for those classes. And we can send those scores to the colleges, or you'll have to send the scores to those colleges to make sure that you're eligible for that. When you sign up for the test, I always try to tell people this, when you sign up for the ACT or SAT, there are 4 free options for you to send those scores to a school, college, university. Take advantage of that because that's free. Because if you take the test and then 3 weeks later after you get the results, you're like, oh shoot, I need to send that somewhere, ACT or SAT will charge you to send those test scores. So again, some of that future thinking thing, make sure that you're using those free opportunities to send those test scores to colleges. The semester dates are different for colleges and universities than they may be for us. I think last year some of the summer courses started like a week before our end date of the second semester. So students were already starting some of their classes while we were still in session as well. In the in-person ones, they try to work with us to start them around the same time of the year, but when it's on campus or on the web, they are working on their calendar, not on ours. So let's say, like for instance, our spring break is coming up at the end of March. The college and university that you may sign up for may have their spring break the first week of April. So they're still going to be expecting you to do work during the week that Heights has spring break, and you'll have the week off where the college or university has spring break. So you got to be mindful that some of those dates are a little bit different. Again, so just to reiterate some of the next steps, making sure that you're thinking through what college or university you want to attend and do these College Credit Plus classes through. Complete the intent form by April 1st. Apply for admission. I know that COTC has a separate CCP. Your guys is the same. Okay. COTC's application is the same as a first-time student. Columbus State has a separate CCP application. So be mindful of that as well, because you could apply it as a first-time freshman, and then we start trying to register you for your classes, and Columbus State will be like, we don't have any record of this student. And then you have to panic and refill out another application. So something to keep in mind is making sure that you're filling out the correct application to be admitted into the college. And then we will meet, our plan is to meet with all of our students. So all of our rising 9th graders, rising 10th graders, rising juniors, and rising seniors in the spring to go over scheduling and those kind of things. So when we're having those types of discussions, we want to make sure that if you are interested in CCP, you let us know so we can help with that. I will say, I don't think anybody from the government's listening, but maybe they are. Probably the best thing that the state of Ohio does when it comes to providing information for families is the CCP website, the website that's listed up here. A lot of the other websites I feel like are outdated, or they bury stuff, or whatever it may be. The CCP website is one of the ones that I feel like they keep the most up-to-date information readily available for families. So if you don't trust the government and you don't trust what they put on their websites, at least trust this one. They do a very good job of making sure that all of that information is on there and is easily accessed for our families. And this is my last slide. I tried to keep it short. Hopefully I didn't bore you guys too much. But this right here is where we're at when it comes to College Credit Plus courses that we offer here. When we do our scheduling, there will be a paper form that we will give to the students that will list all of these options for them as something that they can sign up for. But I wanted to just give you kind of a visual of what we offer. We're always looking to kind of expand those options. The problem is in order for our teachers to teach these courses, there are certain things that they have to do, certain qualifications that they have to have in order to teach these classes. So not all of our teachers qualify for this, so that kind of sometimes limits what we're able to offer. So keep that in mind. But if there's something that a student wants to take that we don't offer here, again, that's where going to the college or university works, or taking the class online works as well, okay? So that's what we offer here. I am going to turn it over to our representative from COTC at this time to talk a little bit about what they do, what they offer, what may be a good fit for you guys as students. So with that being said, Jill, if you want to come on up, and I will switch over to this.